Hi, my name is Nasser Sheikh and I'm a Chartered Certified Accountant with Hoffman & Cohen, a firm based in Knightsbridge, London. We are living in a Brexit world where uncertainty dictates the cost savings, and paying your accountant should be no different. Okay, so you may wonder as to why would an accountant tell you on how to save on the fees? Well, I'm a believer of win-win situation, which is, in my opinion, is the only way one could develop a long-term relationship with his business associates. And by helping you, your accountant, I'm sure, will most certainly end up as a winner as well. Okay, so enough psychology. Let's now move on to some interesting stuff of cost savings that I'm talking about. We accountants price our services based on the amount of time we would spend on a client and the value that we could offer to that client. In a simple nutshell, more the time we spend on a client, and the higher the fees we will charge. As we will all agree, that time is of an essence here. So by you being organized could simply means less time an accountant would spend on organizing your financial affairs, which would mean lesser fees will be charged. Simple. The questions we are usually asked: isn't it an accountant's job to organize our affairs? Now, the simple answer is no, as it's simply or certainly an accountant's job to offer you the value you're looking for, but organizing your paperwork could certainly be done by yourself and generally does not offer any value. Let me explain this with a simple example. So, let's say you are in a business which receive 20 invoices and 10 pages of bank statements every month, which you dump them in a bag to be provided to your accountant at the end of the quarter or the year. The accountant, who will possibly direct the task to their bookkeeper, would have to first spend time organizing your paperwork, which in my opinion generally does not offer any value. You'll certainly be charged for the amount of time in organizing your paperwork, which if you were organized could have been saved. Another aspect that I believe could save you in accountancy fees is the bookkeeping side of business. We're living in a world of automation where there are tons of software out there which could make bookkeeping a breeze. Even if you provide your accountants an organized file to be processed on the software, the bookkeepers will have to spend time processing that information, which would again mean higher fees. So what is stopping you to organize your book that may result in some vital savings in accountancy fees? Now, there are a number of questions we are asked, so one of which is providing these services generally resolve around, say, what would an accountant do when we are doing everything? The answer to this question is that accountants are value providers. They're not bookkeepers. Accountants are value providers. You do not receive much value by an accountant or bookkeepers organizing your paperwork, but the value is in the compliance or the advice which is extracted from those books. The accountants will of course not leave you alone and will regularly review the work that you are doing yourself, but by doing your own books, you're not only saving the fees, but also freeing up the time of your accountant, which could be better spent in advising you on tax-saving avenues or how to grow your business. This is where an accountant can bring in the real value. Another questions we are generally asked by business owners is that we do not understand bookkeeping. So what if we make a mess of a books or make a lot of mistakes? Well, I do agree with that question. This could certainly happen, which is the reason why your accountant will first ascertain your business to determine if you could handle this task yourself. Some businesses like restaurant, retail, or other complicated business could be very complicated, and your accountant would rather let the firm handle those tasks. But the businesses like consultancy or many of the small businesses could be trained by their accountants to handle their own bookkeeping. Your accountant will also be reviewing the work processed by you on a regularly basis and advise you on any mistakes that could be avoided in the future. This will also allow both you and your accountant to determine if you are capable to handle this task and save some fees. If you're not, then I'm sure your accountant will be willing to handle it the way he or she has been handling it for many years. Another question we are asked is, wouldn't this result in accountants losing revenue? Now that's a good question. I mean, it hurts, but yes, it would. And losing fees is not something an accountant or anyone in the business generally enjoys. However, by freeing up this time, the accountants can service you better and provide the value it is intended by an accountant to provide. Eventually, this practice would leave in the client saving fees while the accountant providing value to a bigger number, which is a win-win formula I'm keep talking about. In the end, it is not mandatory for you to do anything yourself, as there are times that you should rather spend growing your business instead of spending on tedious bookkeeping or accounting tasks. However, if you are willing to learn and have enough time to spend on your books, then the cost savings could be huge. Well, I believe I've explained enough, and this is where we'll conclude this video and allow you to spend your time on better things than listening to a boring accountant. Well, I'll be happy to answer your questions that you may have. You can email me your queries to info@tnfinance.com, and I'll be creating a video for every 10 questions I receive. So I wish you a great day. Thank you very much.